I would prefer to be called MATUA. So address me MATUA. Because of my Africanness. Honorable Chairperson of this select committee, my brother-in-law, Honorable Mwini Mpaka. Yes.
Okay, you proceed.
I think I've not made any mistake. I'm respecting my brother-in-law. Yes. My brother-in-law, Honorable Mwini Mpaka, and my other honorable brothers and sisters of this committee. Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ and in the name of Allah. I would like to very sincerely thank my sister.
Chair, as a point of proceeding,
Yes.
our colleague, the witness, must be mindful about the time. The whole day is not committed for you. So try to go to your points because others are coming.
Thank you very much. I was told that I will present until I finish.
You present, but we want the
told.
details. Not
Yes.
Your preamble is taking almost 30 minutes, and you are actually accusing people to have interest by calling them sisters, brothers-in-law.
Okay, please. This is our African culture, and I think I'm within my culture. Please, I beg that you allow me to do my presentation without interruption, and I will entertain any question thereafter. Please, let it be with cordiality. I would like to thank the Right Honorable Speaker of this Parliament for constituting this important committee on the matter of NSSF. The matter so important to our people, the matter so important to our economy and the security. I also want to thank the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of 11th Parliament, the Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, for naming the committee. It is my belief that he has selected the most credible members of Parliament. Please, let us leave to the bill. Chair and the honorable members of Parliament is MATUA Job Richard, a member stroke saver of NSSF since 2011, the aspirant for National Vice Chairperson of Central Executive Committee, NRM for Northern Uganda, an acid-tested award-winning Pan-Africanist, a petitioner and a fierce patriot stroke nationalist who is a laboratory rat farmer. Therefore, my presentation before this committee, Honorable Chair, will be consistent with my philosophy, my political ideology stroke belief, and the modus operandi of a better Uganda for all. And Africa must prevail. A call to this committee. The workers of Uganda deserve better, Honorable Chair. All people work in working age group deserve social security. Today you are working. Tomorrow in the evening you will not be working. But I tell you, your demand for treatment, for sustaining your life will be much bigger than they are today. The leadership of this country, starting with this Parliament, must do everything to ensure that Ugandans of working age group are covered by social security and that their savings are safe and earning good returns. Honorable Chair, only 1.3 million Ugandans of the working age group are saving with the NSSF. Out of 17 million Ugandans in the working age group that are not working with the government and the civil service. Of these 1.3 million Ugandans who are serving, who are members of NSSF, only 630,000, I repeat, only 630,000 are actively remitting the monthly contribution. The other ones have dormant accounts. I want to explain what dormant account means. It means somebody has account with the NSSF, but is no longer servicing by making the monthly remittances. So that account is stagnant. It's not growing in terms of the savings. Honorable Chair and my honorable members of Parliament of this wonderful 11th Parliament, the statistics body, the UBOS, puts Uganda's working age group at 17 million people who are not civil servants.
Chair, proceed.
Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I think our witness here should skip some of the things because we have all the data you're trying to give us. We are informed, we know how many people are saving, we know how much NSSF is. We have all the statistics from you, boss. So I believe
thank you very much.
It's best for our time that you go straight to the point. You know what we are looking for, you know what we want. We don't want.
Honorable Chair, I beg that my prep allow me to deliver my presentation. I will finish within the time. Maybe you can allocate for me the time. I will put myself within the time frame. Please, I beg.
You see,
for my fluidity. Yes, and the flow of my information as a part, the chronology in the brain.
Now, of course, during an investigation, we cannot give you a time limit.
Yes.
Because we are supposed to receive information. Giving a time limit will be more or less, we have denied you a chance, an opportunity. However, be like the honorable member has requested.
Yes.
Be considerate of the members who are already here to make their presentations, and try to cut short the preamble and go straight to the details.
Okay.
But we cannot allocate you time, but also consider the honorable member's request.
Okay, thank you. Let me. Honorable Chair and honorable members of Parliament, you know, this information is so important for you to understand the context of the matter before us. It is so critical. In fact, going that side without it is a serious disservice to us. It may not make us to really understand the context of the matter before us. Only 7.8% of Ugandans are covered by Social Security. 7.8%. This is a national disaster in waiting. We are going to have a period where we have millions of miserable Ugandans retired without any flow of income, and the future government will be forced, honorable members, to look for huge money to pay for them, to sustain them. Even the surge money in the ongoing budget is disappearing at a fast rate. So what shall we do when we have a big population of miserable people without social security? This must be at the back of the members of this committee when you are inquiring into this matter. It is a national issue. Now, only 5.3 billion US dollars is the value of our NSSF, which is 11.04% of our GDP. Our GDP is 48 billion US dollars. As per the figure announced by my chairman of the party, His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni in Kakumiro. Now, in Namibia, their NSSF is 11.6 billion, which is 103% of the GDP of Namibia. In Nigeria, it is 7.6%. And in Asian Tigers, which I will not mention because of time, is 30% of their GDP. I will return to this to explain the significance of this to the savers and to an economy like ours. That's why I said this matter is so critical. It borders to the people of Uganda, to the economy and the security of our country. We must inquire into it patiently and deeply. I pray this committee lays the net wider. Be patient. Take in everything and then go to discuss. It is critical. Compliance is standing at 51%, meaning 49% of our people's savings are not being returned, remitted. Where is this money? Honorable member, I invite you to look for this money. Where has this money got lost? Yes.
I want to request, I don't want to miss a single word from the petitioner. He's giving us very important information. To push the microphone slightly away.
Okay.
Because it is echoing.
You know my audibility.
Yeah, you have a lot of audibility.
Yeah, you know.
But we want to get every word that you are saying.
Please, my apology. You know, I told you I'm a fierce patriot of this country. A very fierce one. Compliance is standing at 51%. Honorable Chair, I know you are somebody with a business background. Where is the 49% of this money? Who took it? I will give you details about it, based on evidence which is in the custody of this parliament, the Auditor General's report. Honorable Chair, 200 billion is out there, unremitted, uncollected, of members' contribution by the management. 200 billion is out there, uncollected. This money is not in space. Somebody is using workers' money illegally. It is a criminal. But it is happening. Honorable Chair and my other honorable members of parliament, if we joke with issues of social security, we will soon find ourselves into a peril that we will not recover from.
Mr. Job.
Based on the above preamble,
Mr.
with
Job.
your permission, sir.
Mr. Job.
Yes.
You said 200 billion
Yes.
is out there in space.
Yes.
What do you mean is in space? And you're saying
No.
someone out there is using it. Who is that person?
Very good. Thank you very much. I want to answer you precisely. 200 billion of members' savings deducted at the source in the companies, in the farms, in the schools where they are working is not being remitted to NSSF. It is being used by the companies because it is not remitted. It is with the bosses. It is not in space. This is what I'm meaning. The people using are the owners of those companies. So
which companies are these?
The Auditor General report named some of them, which I will give in my detail, please. So therefore, it is very, very important that this committee looks beyond the issue of appointment of Mr. Richard Biarogaba. The problem is much bigger than just looking at an individual. Please. Based on the above preamble, and with your permission, allow me to carry on and dive deeper into my case, stroke petition.
Please dive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to read my petition in verbatim because you don't have a copy. Honorable members of Parliament in this important select committee. On the 15th of December, I wrote a petition to the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda. And I gave specific attention to the line minister in charge of NSSF, the Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development, the Honorable Betty Amongi Ongo. Reference, petition to stop reappointment of Mr. Richard Biarogaba as the Managing Director of NSSF. Reference is made to your letter to Honorable Minister Betty Among Ongo, dated December 7th December 2022, requesting her to reappoint the above named person as MD of NSSF. Aware that Mr. Richard Biarogaba has served in NSSF for 12 straight years as MD, noting that he has passed the mandatory retirement age of 60 years for civil servants, public servants. Further noting that there are many well-educated, qualified citizens to take up such opportunities and serve the people better. I hereby plead with you to rescind your decision. The purpose of this letter I want to draw your attention, honorable members, to the purpose of my letter, my petition. The purpose of this letter is, therefore, to politely request you to stop reappointment of the embattled Mr. Richard Byarugaba and to instead cause a thorough, independent, and fair probing to ascertain the validity of the numerous allegations levied on him by employees of NSSF as well as workers stroke savers. That is the context of my petition. And it is very important for the honorable members of this important committee to actually pick the context in which my petition was addressed. Now, a list of strong grounds to my petition and evidence documents are here to attach as annexures. A copy of this letter, by copy of this letter, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, permanent secretaries for both Ministries of Finance and Gender, Labor and Social Developments are informed. Kind regards. Now, from the purpose of the petition, I refer to the grounds for the members of Parliament before me. The first ground is there is a difficulty in mid-term access. Please take a note of this very well. Members are facing a difficulty, Honorable Chair, to access their mid-term benefit. Honorable Chair, immediately this wonderful Parliament enacted the law to allow access to mid-term. NSSF management came up with a bureaucratic method, introduced the bureaucracy called the pension administration system, introduced the internal mechanism that made access to the mid-term a very difficult thing. I have evidence to demonstrate before this committee that the clerk to Parliament will produce to me shortly, and I will table it before this Parliament committee, because of the limited time given to me when I was invited. I will table it. Now, Honorable Chair.
Mr. Job.
Yes.
All the allegations you make must be backed with evidence.
So can I send to the number which sent me the invitation so that they produce for these people? If permission granted. I was invited via WhatsApp. So I would also send my evidence there, and the same person could produce it for me, since that was the method. Permission granted, sir.
Honorable members, how do we proceed? Okay, kindly send to the number that invited.
Please, let me do that immediately. Let me do that.
Through you, Chair, I would want to be sure.
Yes.
What are you sending?
What are you sending? What is the content?
I am sending a case of a saver of NSSF. My own comrade of Intake 2, 2010, of NALI, National Leadership Institute Chankwanji, who struggled to access his mid-term access until I had to talk about it in the national media before NSSF could give him his money.
So what is the case?
Can I demonstrate the case for you? And I'll file the evidence, sir.
Chair, we need to be sure what is sending to the WhatsApp number.
Yes.
Is it a court case?
It is the correspondence between NSSF and the saver in his struggles to get his money.
I think we need sufficient information corroborated so that we are able to give a reasonable picture of the PAS you're talking about. One struggle to access midterm might not be representative of the performance.
Pension administration system. I can produce it, but not today. Even if tomorrow I can produce it before this committee. Even this afternoon I can produce it. Yeah, I can get it.
Thanks very much, Chair.
Yes.
I've been listening to the witness.
Yes, sir.
This is a select committee. It's not a joking committee.
Yes, sir.
Even your idea of saying, well, I will send to the WhatsApp and what have you, we are just laughing. When a witness comes here, you support your allegation of documents. And the authenticity of the documents must be clear. I'm therefore, because I'm interested in your stories, Would you kindly request the chair to accord you another day? We can listen now a bit, but you come with backed documents.
Very good. Thank you.
Because when we go to the floor of parliament, we don't simply narrate history.
Okay. Please, Honorable Chair, could you give me permission to
Now,
service you with some of these
honorable
documents?
members, we are receiving information, we are receiving whatever he believes is the evidence backing those allegations.
Yeah.
We have not yet determined even whether it is admissible or not.
Okay.
So whatever you think is your evidence, you share with us.
Okay, please.
At a later time, we shall sit
Okay.
and determine whether it is speaking to your grounds
Okay.
or not.
Okay. So I can carry
And
on.
whatever evidence you do not have right now,
Yes.
we are going to give you up to tomorrow, by close of business tomorrow,
Yes.
to submit to the clerk's office.
Okay, please.
So without wasting time, please
Okay.
proceed.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful, honorable members. And I love the spirit because this is nationalism. Yeah. Thank you very much for loving Uganda, my country. Savers are facing difficulty in accessing money. Now, the idea of midterm access was to rescue Ugandans who were distressed by COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, lost their means of income, yet they had some little money with the NSSF. There's one case of Kada Baguma Gerard Mutiba from Bwera. Kada Baguma applied to access his midterm on the 4th of October. Please, you could note for me the date because it is very important in your judgment.
But chair, let me help you.
Yes.
Since I've been around here for some time,
Yes.
and I'm behind the NSSF Act,
Yes.
the idea of the midterm, the 20, was
Yes.
not necessary for COVID. We had started on it.
Yes.
Either COVID came or not, we wanted some people to start having that midterm.
Point taken.
Honorable members, let's avoid interrupting the witnesses.
Whoever
has a question, you'll ask at the end, unless you have a clarification. Because
Okay.
this is going to drag for a long time.
Thank-
Kindly please go straight to your grounds
Thank you very much.
and your evidence.
Thank you very much. So Kada Baguma applied on the 4th of October 2022. He was told his money would be processed within 3 weeks. He had to struggle to access that money in 3 months and 19 days. It took me and him to go public and talk about the struggle, his struggle on national media to access the money. A money less than 5 million. Less than 5 million in this digital era, honorable members of parliament. To access less than 5 million took 3 months and 19 days. What if somebody is processing 200 million? Would it take 100 years? I want you to inquire. I beg this committee inquires into the delays in processing the midterm benefit. What is wrong? Is the money there? If it is not, where is it? Now, honorable members, NSSF must work for the saver, number one. This is the saver's money. Whatever done around the money must work for the interest of the saver the first, before even any other thing. If the savers can struggle to access their money, how are we going to build the confidence in the other Ugandans, the majority who are not covered by Social Security, to even pick appetite to join it? It is going to be a tug of war. So, honorable member of this important select committee, NSSF, as of now, is not serving the interest of the saver. Please, NSSF, as of now, is not serving the interest of the member. And I want to demonstrate it. Honorable Chair, we have housing estate project in Lubowa. 2,700 housing units are planned to be built there. They have completed 300 of them, 300 units. None of those houses can be afforded by any of the savers of NSSF. How much are they? 3 billion, 2 billion, 1.5 billion. I politely inquire if my good members of this committee could also afford a house of 3 billion in Ugandan economy. Whose interest is the management of NSSF serving? In Rwanda here, they are constructing cheaper houses for the saver. So NSSF, as of now, is not serving the interest of the saver. So this committee should inquire deeply. Whose interest is NSSF serving? Are the interest of the savers or the interest of Uganda or some other interest, foreign interest that we don't know? Honorable Chair, why don't NSSF construct houses of 80 million, 100 million that the savers can buy in mortgages? Why? Why? This is the question. Why build a house for 3 billion? Which ordinary Ugandan in our economy here, with the lead, by the way, 99% of Ugandans earn less than 1 million monthly. 99% of Ugandans earn less than 1 million, one man. Now, the Ugandan who's earning 200,000 saving with the NSSF is told to buy now a house at 3 billion. Penson Tower, 500 billions have been already spent there, not completed, since 2006. Temangalo, billions locked there. Honorable Chair, from the figures of NSSF, I have computed 1 trillion 251 billion, please can we note down? 1 trillion 251 billions 600 million, making 7% of the 17.88 trillion locked in real estate that is white elephant, not bringing return. 20 years down the road, we have locked this money of savers in a white elephant of real estate, not bringing returns 20 years down the road. I am glad one of the members of this committee was a workers' MP, and I think he will be of good benefit to us. What was the strategic goal of NSSF management in undertaking those investments? Were they in the interest of the savers? If not, whose interest? Now, so NSSF management then it comes to declare 9.46% of profit for the member, and they want us to clap for them, to dance, to sing hallelujah for them, that they are doing very well. A 17.88 trillion, if you invest it wisely, can even bring profit for the saver of 30%, Honorable Chair. So the NSSF management should not think we don't understand the investment. I told you I am a rat farmer, a laboratory rat farmer. Then you declare 9.46%, then you want everybody to clap, to sing hallelujah, that you are doing very well. I want to submit that NSSF management is extremely underperforming in terms of investment. That is why members' money is not growing. Honorable Chair, 10,000 of today is going to be much useless 20 years to come. My own grandmother, may her soul rest in peace, told me in 70s, a bull was bought at 100 shilling. Today, you cannot even buy the testicles of a bull for 100 shilling. You cannot. You can't even buy a piece of meat of a bull for that money. That is the gravity of the matter. Please, it may look dramatic, but it's very important. Actual, Honorable Chair, what makes the workers' money, what makes the workers' money meaningful is the big interest it earns. If I put my 10,000 there, in 20 years, I want to find it a million. It would have been protected in terms of value. But I put my 10,000 there, and then it grows to 20,000, then you want me to clap for you. I will not. You are underperforming. Please, I want the celebrating people that they are doing very well in these entities. They are not. Please, let us stop celebrating mediocrity in Uganda. Celebrating lackluster performance. It is a part of our problem in this country. When we get a smaller success, instead of consolidating it, to leverage it, to go to higher limit, we begin to celebrate, we boost, extramarital affairs, and then we say we are doing good. So, Honorable Chair, I can therefore authoritatively say as a server that NSSF management truly underperforms. So there is a need for this committee to inquire deeply what is causing the underperformance of NSSF management. Non-compliance or loss of members' money at the source. I want to demonstrate this. This you had asked me. The 200 billion that is out there and collected. Honorable Chair, there is a report of this parliament by Auditor General indicating that UBC here, just across here, for the recent report of Auditor General. Yes, Auditor General's report. Yesterday I told the clerk to get for me. Yes. I told the clerk to
Yeah, you're referring to. We shall get this information.
This year, the one he has just submitted. Yes. Yes, the new report submitted.
Okay.
And I had requested the clerk on a call to serve us. Yes. UBC here, UBC TV across here, is holding 48 billion of the workers, not given to NSSF. Honorable Chair, this is obscene. This is obscene. Workers' house is just across there. How long does it take for the management of NSSF to walk from there to Avenue Road here to demand the 48 billion? This committee should inquire, could there be connivance between the management of these corporate bodies and the management of NSSF to refuse, to deny the members remittance of their money? 48 billion, UBC here. There are people working there 7 years down the road. Their NSSF money has not reached workers' house. Sincerely speaking, Honorable Chair, 9 billion, Uganda Railways. There's a case of Uganda Railways, 9 billion. Uganda Railways had accumulated 9 billion of savers' money, Honorable Chair. This money was waived off by the former MOD of NSSF. The money was waived off. I want you to invite the management of NSSF to explain to you and to Ugandans why the 9 billion of the workers of Uganda Railways was waived off. Can we recover that money? That is the gravity of the problem. That's why I'm saying we are losing members' money at the source. Honorable Chair, it is very, very obscene. It is a very serious case. Yes.
Who waived off the money?
The money was waived off by the management, the former management of NSSF.
Please state the name of the former MD.
The CEO takes that decision. He is the one signing. There's a CEO, Mr. Richard Biarugaba.
Okay.
Yes. He was the CEO. Was there another CEO? I don't think. So, Honorable Chair, therefore, there are even companies, there are schools, there are farms that under-declare the workers. Somebody is having 2,000 workers and is only paying NSSF for 300 workers. The rest are not registered. That is why it is very important to go and register the savers at the companies, to go there. Because there is a total lack of compliance. There is a total unfaithfulness. Companies are trying to run around it. And this committee should inquire further why it is happening like that. What could be the problem? This committee should take interest in it. Honorable Chair, I now want to dive into the board members of NSSF. This is the core of the problem at NSSF. Very well educated people, competent, but very weak. I repeat, very weak. In fact, we are even lucky that the former MOD was not too cunning. He would have run down NSSF, given the weakness of the board. And I want to demonstrate this into detail. Pick the document that you have been served about COF2. The war in the COF2 and how. It tells us the story of NSSF.
Is it the petition against illegal nomination?
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
Uh-huh.
Honorable members, do you have a copy of this?
If they could give me one copy, because I had given it to be produced. Yes. No, you can, please, as they arrange it, I am prepared. As they arrange it, I'm prepared. Honorable Chair, Honorable Members of Parliament, I can see people's eyes are still on the document. If you could give me attention briefly. Honorable Chair, the crux of the matter the crux of the matter is now at the body level. Honorable Chair, in the NSSF board, there are members who are contributed by the union body, not to which is here, and the COF2. For COF2, somebody nominated himself and his girlfriend to go and represent workers on the board of NSSF. Jesus of Nazareth, Muhammad of Makkah. Illegal nomination of the members to go and represent workers in a portfolio of 17.88 trillion. Somebody nominated himself and his girlfriend to go and represent workers on the board. Jesus of Nazareth, Muhammad of Makkah. This is the absurdity of the matter before you, honorable members. Please inquire into this matter deeply. Let the net wider. Now, how can such a member even hold integrity in the adjudication of the affairs of the board? This question needs to be answered. How sure are we that at the board level there is a really harmony with this kind of thing? Indeed, there are documents here showing that there is a real trouble. A big trouble. The letter is there. The letter name is the letter is with you. The document is with you. The name was there on the record. Yes. Dr. Liomoki Sam nominated himself and his girlfriend, to go and represent workers in the name of COF2 at the NSSF. I have living witnesses here. The girlfriend's name is here. You can mention for me. Yes, you can mention for me the name. The name was here.
Mr. Chairman, dear honorable members, I would defer on the issue of girlfriend. We don't know whether it's a girlfriend or not, but the issue is that the two representing COF2 on the NSSF board nominated themselves. So there's an issue of illegality. So the two is Dr. Honorable Sam Liomoki and the Council Penina Tukamwesigwa. I would differ from that thing of girlfriend. I don't know that. Penina Tukamwesigwa. Now, if there is, just to clarify,
Yes.
Illegal nomination means illegal constitution of the board. And therefore, whatever takes and is best on the illegal nomination and the illegal board has issues.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, that is where the trouble goes deeper. We now have illegal people serving in the board of NSSF. And yes.
Here,
Yes.
whether the two were illegally nominated by the bodies that are supposed to nominate, or illegally represented. They went there without being nominated. That has to be clarified on record.
Exactly. In fact, that's the point. That there was no consensus because I sit on the board and the sake of COF2. there was no consensus as to the nomination of the two. So there was no board resolution.
So meaning you have never nominated anyone.
Exactly.
They are there on their own.
Yeah, that's the issue.
But did you nominate anybody?
Let us not ask questions now. Let them present, we ask and finish.
I can tell you the matter is very interesting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Now, since we did not we did not nominate anybody, and since they are taking up the positions, we couldn't do anything. That's why one of the members of the board members of COF2 petitioned. In fact, those are the letters. In fact, he's even on his way coming because he's the originator of those documents. Has he come?
Maybe you can give us more information on that matter.
Yeah.
If you can give him a seat. About this illegal nomination.
Dear members of Parliament and Select Committee, my name is Robert Keno. I'm the General Secretary of Uganda Scientists, Researchers, and Allied Workers Union, and I'm a board member of COF2. At the same time, I'm a member of the Public Service Negotiating Council, Minister of Public Service. In regards to the letter, I'm the author. Our Secretary General received the letter and kept it in his desk in early August, written by Minister of Finance, requesting for nomination of members of the board. Now, this Honorable Dr. Liomoki, he wrote a letter on the 6th August, saying he's calling a NEC meeting, second meeting. That's 2021. Again, the same man wrote another letter postponing, knowing that the deadline was on 28th August 2021. He wrote the letter of 25th saying that the second meeting has been postponed to September 8th. Now, I wrote a letter myself and petitioned Minister of Finance. I followed with Minister of Labor, but they never, we are not given audience for our petition. Now, these people went ahead, not even a sec. They nominated themselves to the board. And I kept on following up to IGG, but nothing was yield. So that's the much I can state.
Now, members will still ask you, so you need to be specific. On 6th August, Liomoki invited you for an AGM.
Yes.
For a second meeting.
Yeah.
For a second meeting.
Yeah. And it did not take place.
But he invited you to attend this meeting on 6th August.
Yes.
What was this meeting supposed to do?
We didn't know the agenda. We didn't know the agenda.
Let me respond. I think the letter was issued on 6th, and by law.
Madam, kindly, we request you to kindly give us.
Honorable Chair, and thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament.
Are you, just a minute, do you have a presentation later on in the afternoon? Are you coming to address this same issue?
We were not invited we are SEC members and I'm a board member, but the members who are here, there was a meeting yesterday and the people with this information were not invited. So we felt we should give this information.
So can we invite you to come at 2? You stay around at 2 when the other colleagues come. We shall invite you and we shall go deep into this matter because we are now eating into the time of the other labor union.
If you don't mind, for the sake of backing his submission,
we have taken note. No, we have taken note.
1 minute.
No, it cannot be 1 minute. Members will want to inquire a lot into this matter. So if at all you are coming, like we have invited you at 2, you come and give us more details. You can use this time now to get evidence to support whatever you are telling us. But you can sit. Job.
And honorable members of parliament, you can now see the sprinkling of the trouble at the board emanating from even the union body. So the nucleus of the trouble of NSSF resides in the board. This honorable committee should inquire deeply into this matter. I want to proceed. You can now see this same person who nominated himself and his friend to be members of the board now begins to author documents requesting for finances from NSSF. There's an evidence with you there. This is the crux of the matter. Now, workers' money being requested. The 400 million. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we have that document.
Can you show us?
It is there.
We do not have it in the document.
I gave it, yes. Yes. I gave it.
Can we have a look at that document?
Maybe the person who produced it. Yes. I really gave it to be produced. I really gave it to be produced. Now.
No, just a minute.
Yes. Yes. A letter written by Chairman, it is written by Secretary General of COFTU to Managing Director, Acting Managing Director, NSSF.
No, we don't.
Yes. It is a letter written by her to Acting Managing Director. I gave it to be produced.
You have more copies? Kindly share.
$600 million, almost 1 billion, for activities that is not known to even the executive of his union. First of all, this is save as money. Honorable members of parliament, please. This money needs protection. What is the purpose of that money? Under what law was it obtained? Right into acting managing director. And he gave a reference to the highly pronounced 6 billion, saying it was for stakeholders. I will return to that. So there is legality in the board. This honorable committee should inquire deeply into it. Therefore, the board of NSSF, I can say, failed to supervise the management, and the management took advantage of that to run the affairs the way it can do, together with the board. That is where the problem is. In fact, it could be the reason as to why the same impunity body went ahead to recommend somebody past retirement age, somebody who has served past the legal framework to be reappointed. It is a compromise the board completely. And also, if I could use the English of the late President Idi Amin Dada, I come from West Nile. So we are now in that dilemma. We have a very serious portfolio managed by the people supervising it as we revere them, but they're too weak that they have already surrendered. I will return to that. Now, having attained mandatory retirement age of 60 years for all public servants, and having served for 12 straight years, exhausting the 2 terms set by Section 39. Please remember, this is very, very important. there is a law of this very parliament, Section 39 and 40 of NSSF Amendment Act 2022. It is the law of this very parliament. Section 39 and Section 40 of NSSF Amendment Act. It gives us the appointment of MOD and deputy MOD and their term of office in terms of the tenure. And it is clearly stated the MOD is to be appointed for 5 years term, which is renewable once. This man has been there for 12 years. So what was the legal basis for his reappointment? This committee should inquire into it. What was the legal basis that the board based itself on to reappoint him? The law is saying you serve for 1 term or 5 years, which is renewable once. Somebody has served for 12 years. So what was the legal basis for his reappointment? It is very unfair to the other qualified Ugandans who should be given this opportunity. I'm going to demonstrate it forward. Honorable Chair, we have very many Ugandans who have studied.
Honorable Bakabulindi.
Yes.
Chair, I didn't want to interrupt my colleague.
Yes.
But whenever you quote a law,
yes,
we look at it.
Please go ahead.
Section 39.
Yes.
There shall be a managing director of the fund who
yes,
shall be appointed by the minister for such a period. Where did you get the 5 years?
In the Amendment Act. I was very specific.
Which amendment?
Amendment of this parliament.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm referring to a law passed by this very parliament, 11th parliament. Give to him, let him read for clarity.
Now, members,
yes,
it is in the amendment of Section 19 of Principal Act. Have you seen it? B, by inserting immediately after subsection 1 the following: the managing director appointed under subsection 1 shall serve a period of 5 years and may be reappointed subject to satisfactory performance for 1 more term only.
Only. And it ends with only. Somebody has been there for 12 years. What? So what was the legal basis?
But the act starts with here.
Yes.
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 You cannot count the backwards.
Let me finish my submission. We shall come to that. But the spirit of the law remains. The spirit of the law remains. Yes, the spirit of the law remains.
Okay,
Yeah,
proceed.
Now, Honorable Chair and members of Parliament, there is a need to promote growth at work in NSSF and even in ministries and in other agencies of government. A behavior is cropping up where people who reach retirement age don't want to give away. There is already smoke in the Ministry of Finance here. Somebody reach retirement age and is refusing to leave. There is a chaos there. This will go everywhere. It will become cancerous in this country that people reach retirement age and they find their only way to remain there. So what are those studying going to work for? Are they going to be, why don't we train them on commercial farming and they go for commercial farming one way? So I can say that there is a need for people who reach retirement age to give way. And my submission is that both Mr. Ayota Patrick and Mr. Biarogaba should leave their past retirement age. Let us get within the hierarchy of NSSF.
What is the age of the two?
Mr. Ayota is 63 years old and Mr. Biarogaba is 61 years old.
What is the retirement age?
60 years.
Can you prove the age? How are you sure of their age?
That one I will give evidence to that effect, because there is a correspondence of the from Ministry of Labor to that effect. Thank you very much. Now, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament, please let us take this issue very seriously, because one of the biggest problems we have in Uganda is unemployment. In fact, mass unemployment. Mass unemployment.
Can you go to the grounds now?
The next ground.
Go to your grounds, justify. Ground justify.
Very good. They need to create employment opportunities for this which I have finished. Number 7, they need to investigate allegations of corruption of award of contracts and management of a NSSF project. I'm going to comment on that. Abuse of office and bad working relationship with NSSF employees.
Speak to each ground.
Please, I'm coming to that.
No.
Honorable Chair.
Every ground you state,
yes,
speak to it and we move on.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I'm seeking for your permission, because now these ones I'm mentioning, they're already subject of investigation by IGG. Not to offend the principle of justice, I may skip them.
No.
Yeah, I may skip them.
When we began,
yes.
we told you the power of this committee.
Yes.
We will get that information if you have it. Can
Okay.
you speak to the grounds of corruption?
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Chair, there is a petition by Procurement Department of NSSF. Procurement Department of NSSF to the Minister of Gender and to the President, asking for probe of the former MD over corruption cases in award of contracts and management of projects of NSSF. I will produce that. You can compel. The power of this committee is big enough to compel for all this document to be produced. You can imagine NSSF Procurement Department.
What is the content of this petition?
The petition is now referring to cases of corruption in the various projects NSSF is undertaking.
So can you give us this petition?
The petition? I will serve it within the time you have given me. I will serve it. I have it. I will serve it within the time you have given me.
So what is the content?
The content, precisely the content is need to investigate allegations of corruption by the former MD in the various NSSF projects. There are specifics of it. You will read the petition. It has the attachment, the annexure, complete. So, now my petition, if you can see my petition earlier, I said there is a need for government to actually cause the investigation over those allegations before rushing to appoint somebody. There is a question, why do we want to rush to appoint somebody when there are questions to be answered? We should answer the questions. If the person is clean, then it's good to go. The question is, why are people rushing to block the investigation when there are questions? In fact, the people blocking the investigation should be investigated too by this committee. What is their interest?
Clarification, Chair.
Yes.
Clarification, Honorable Nanto.
Which people are you referring to that are blocking?
There are very many people in this country.
When you allege, you have to specify on the people you're accusing.
Okay, thank you very much. I may withdraw that, but in due course, I will name them where necessary. Then
do you know these people?
Yes.
Do you know the people you are referring to?
Who are blocking the investigation? I know some. I will.
Can you give us the names?
Alleging to be blocked.
Who is blocking this investigation?
I'm not talking about this investigation.
Yes,
I'm referring to the
yes. Who is blocking it?
No, actually, I may not name now because I will first come with my evidence. Then I will. Where need to be, I will give.
No.
Okay.
Chair,
okay.
Through you.
Yes.
My brother, you're here to help us.
Yes.
So if you continue alleging without proof, which we are relying on,
yes,
then you're not helping the committee. So it is important that if you're not yet ready, you ask the chairman to ask you to come later when you have everything ready.
Very good. Thank
now,
you.
Mr. Job, we are going to request you,
yes,
I don't know, honorable members, what you think, to go back, get all the documentation,
yes,
organize it properly.
yes,
For each allegation, you must have evidence to support that allegation.
yes,
And you will let us know which time is appropriate for you to appear back in this committee, and we shall accord you the same time.
yes.
But when you are more organized with all those documents you are referring to that you can get.
Okay, please.
So when can you be able to get us all this information? When can you be able to organize yourself?
Organize these documents and be able to be with them here. I request you give me 2 days. 2 days.
Honorable members?
I think it is okay. Yes, he give him the time he has requested,
Yes.
and then we can be able to move smoothly when he has all the supporting documents to his allegation.
Okay, 2 days.
Yes.
But Chair, through you, I would want us to be specific.
Yes.
These 2 days, is today inclusive? So are you proposing that you can be ready Thursday?
Let us discount today.
So we say we are
Because
giving you...
today is already completed here. Yes.
We say we are giving you Wednesday and Thursday, so you can come Friday?
I will be here. Yes, I will be here.
So you'll be here by 9 a.m. on Friday?
Yes.
Kindly go, organize your evidence.
Yes.
And we kindly request you do not take us back through a preamble.
No, I will not go.
On that day, you go straight to an allegation,
yes,
supporting documents, and we move.
Okay, please.
But we thank you on behalf of this committee, and we wish you a wonderful day.
I would also like to...
I just witnessed that 9 a.m. means when you are seated here, not when you are leaving your bed.
Please.
Like today we waited for him for almost an hour.
Honorable Chair, I want to...
Kindly give your concluding remarks.
Yes, I want to apologize for arriving late. It is because I had informed him that I was actually down. Yesterday he called me when I was in a clinic. It is just my strong patriotic spirit that has made me to reach here.
He has come with a receipt of the medication.
I've tabled evidence to that effect.
Members, he has produced a receipt here. He has just been in a clinic.
Yes.
So we give him time.
Yes.
We hope you recover.
Honorable Chair, I would like to thank you very much and the honorable members for the high cordiality of this interaction. As I said, this is a matter that borders to the very core of our people, our economy and security. I am profoundly grateful, and I have said all this consistent with my philosophy and my belief of a better Uganda for all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, the members of COF2, we are sure, I hope you are not leaving. You stay around, but not very far, because we shall need you at 2. We invite you for a cup of tea. No, let him go and prepare. You introduce yourself again for the record.
Thank you, honorables and members of the press. My name is Richard Bigirwa. I'm the Secretary General of NOTU. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting us and considering us as stakeholders for this investment of trade union. This is one of the labor centers which was established way back in 1976 by decree and later amended the Act of 206, and we are major key stakeholders in the National Social Security Fund, which is the question today and why we are here. Just briefly, Uganda has a total of 45 trade unions, and out of those we have 2 umbrella organizations, as you are aware, that is NOTU and COF2. But most importantly, that COF2, NOTU, is the most representative center because it has 34 unions under it. So by ILO standards, NOTU is the most representative center, and it has a majority say on the stakes of workers in this country. So, Honorable Chair, we want to thank you once again. About us, since the background of this matter, since last year, 2021, the National Social Security Fund has been in the limelight in the domain of public debate with questions on management and corporate affairs. The National Organization on Trade Union here therefore comments on the key issues. Honorable Chair, you gave us the guideline on the 5 key issues we should comment on it. And accordingly, I will move to one by one to comment on each. And after then, my colleagues
will basically comment on 5 if they have. And as you guided, Honorable Chair, we shall welcome the questions, Honorable Chair. On the issue of to examine corporate governance structures at the National Social Security Fund, Honorable Chair, we here respond as follows. Through the NSSF Act, the fund reports into 2 ministries, that is Gender, Labor and Social Development, and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development for policy, investment, and oversight, respectively. This setting makes the fund secure and promotes growth, leverage on the varied experts within the 2 ministries. Honorable Chair, before this arrangement came, this fund used to report to 1 ministry, which is the Ministry of Finance. And basically, in our view, as workers, we did not have close touch with the fund. And the Ministry of Finance, being only minded about finances, this kind of arrangement did not favor workers. The fund management is through Managing Director, who reports to the Board of Directors and works through various board committees. Honorable Chair, Human Resource, Investment, Risk Audit, and Finance Committees. We believe this is a good practice for the corporate governance. The fund has a multi-stakeholder board of directors constituted in accordance to Section 3 of the NSSF Act as amended, bringing together government, workers, employers, and the board of directors. All operations are done under the regulatory environment of UBRA and several other regulating authorities, including the Auditor General. As noted, we are in total support of this existing governance structure. Honorable Chair, as workers and as labor centers, when you look in the last 10 Labor Day speeches, the workers were agitating for this arrangement. And we want to thank the government and the parliament who amended this act to include us in law that we must be part of the board of directors. And we support this arrangement. Honorable Chair, I want to add that before the workers went onto this board, there was a total chaos. There was a lot of issues. The Temanga law, the what, all the managing directors went out through jail, most of them. So after that, when workers came on board, this fund honestly changed its operation. And we believe that this investigation should go on, and if there is any anomaly, it should be corrected. But the arrangement, we support it as workers. On issue number 2, over to examine the circumstances surrounding the appointment of the fund's managing director. The NSSF Act as amended provides for the MD, for the appointment of MD by the Minister of Gender, Social Development upon recommendation of the board. We are aware that board members recommended to the minister for the appointment of both MD and DMD. The minister appointed DMD but deferred the appointment of MD until certain allegations against MD are resolved. The IGG, Auditor General, Parliament are currently investigating the allegation. As noted, we are very positive and we do not condone any form of corruption, malpractices in the management of the fund. And therefore, we call upon this committee to do its work diligently in interest of members, the country at large, and we commit to cooperate whenever need arises, well aware that the labor movement, we are key stakeholders in the matter of National Social Security Fund. Their policies, the human resource manuals, whatever. We believe that this should be a clear guide on how the MD should be appointed or reappointed. And we feel when the contract expires, there are parameters on how this process goes on. And we encourage this committee that to ensure and look through all the processes on how the MD is appointed or reappointed. We are very positive on this matter, and we do not condone any kind of theft. Whoever would be found fraudulent in this matter, we are here as a workers' body to ensure the workers' fund is safe. So we encourage this committee to ensure that they unearth everything. As NOTU, we have done our part, especially through our board of directors, whom we get quarterly reports over this matter. And we want to assure you that we have got briefings over this matter, and we feel that you are on course to go this direction. On allegation number 3, to evaluate status and safety of savers' money. To our knowledge, based on the briefs from our board members, the investment levels are as follows. 1, the government bonds. Out of the 17 trillion, 78%, which represents 13 trillion, this is in government bonds. Out of still 17%, 15% is in equities, which is 2.6 trillion. Real estate, those are Temangalos, Lovoas, and what, stand at 7%, which represents 1.1 trillion. So we realize that the biggest risk, if you analyze, it is in real estate as per now. That's why you are hearing stories of Temangalo, you are hearing stories of Lubowa. So the money at stake currently is 1.1 trillion. So in our view, we feel that there is no money which is there to be thrown to the dogs. Still, this 1.1 trillion which is at stake, this is workers' money. And the investment part of it must be adequately addressed, and we see how to move forward. Nevertheless, we also note that the year ending 2021, the fund registered a net returns on investment of 1.5 trillion. So this makes the fund somehow safer. But as earlier retaliated, there is no money to throw to the dogs. We need to look into this matter keenly. So, Honorable Chair, we believe that the investment mix is in order because government bonds are almost 100% secure. So the 1.1 trillion is at stake. On matter number 4, to examine the extent of stakeholder engagement in the decision-making at the fund. Stakeholder engagement is guided by various laws, regulations, and internal corporate governance procedures, such as laws include Labor Unions Act. The unions are formed through Labor Unions Act, Workers' Compensations Act, and other relevant laws. And the NSSF is one of the laws. So, we want to assure this committee that as custodians of workers, that we are very key into the engagements into this fund. And notably, all of these are in tandem with the ILO Convention 102, which speaks about social security protection. So as far as the engagement is concerned, this is the extent we are. In conclusion, not under the mandate of promoting social protection for members desires to have a stronger social security mechanism to which NSSF is key. We therefore wish for a stronger NSSF with exceptional corporate practices, and any parliamentary intervention through this committee to strengthen operations of the fund is highly welcome and shall be supported by ourselves as workers' leaders in the country. Honorable Chair, the written submission stops there. On the issue number 5, to inquire into any other matters. Honorable Chair, this is an incidental matter, and we shall welcome any query and a question to our side to ensure that we give further guidance to this committee for proper
Okay.
guidance.
We thank you for that very brief presentation. I have a few questions. Tongo and Honorable Amos, then Gaffa. Now, the first question is, what is your role in the governance of NSSF? The second question is, give us an update on the workers' savings, because you have talked about how the fund is being used or managed at NSSF, but what is the status of the workers' savings? The third question is, have you ever used any money from the fund? Because we have seen a letter from the current speaker of Dr. Lomok, a board member, requesting for money to run activities of the organization. So this is a very serious question, and you may actually be put on oath, because we are going to retrieve the bank statements and establish facts. Now, it is a simple question. Do you or have you ever used the fund's money to run your activities? And if not, how are you running your activities? The last one, before the fund was reporting to Ministry of Gender, there seemed to have been some silence. Why do you think is the cause? What do you think is the cause of the current situation at the NSSF? Honorable Kakembo.
I want first of all to thank the main presenter. I am, however, not very satisfied with the submission of the workers representative. You rightly said you represent over 35%. So you are the main stakeholder in this. But with the way NSSF is doing its work, as the workers' representative, I don't know whether you are aware there is a lot of money, their savings, that is retained at the center, not remitted at the NSSF. And you know, there is a penalty for late remittance. I don't know whether you are satisfied how that penalty can affect the workers' money and their benefits at the end of the day. The repercussions on the penalties, on the interest also, because when the money delays, that means someone would be having like a 20 million, the account will show like 15 million. After 2 years, then it goes to about some money, and in that way is losing interest, because interests are calculated by a certain percentage of the total savings. So late remittance affects the interest of many workers. I don't know whether you are aware of that or whether you are satisfied. You seem not to be very comfortable with the investment of NSSF. You seem not to have any query into how NSSF is using our money to invest. Procurement officer, contracts, the buildings we have for workers, it has changed so far, about 3 contractors. And each contractor comes with a different costs and higher from the first one. I don't know whether you have dug into that also to find out why contracts are changing and the contractors are coming with higher costs than the previous contractors. And why? Why are we changing? Is it the incompetence of the procurement department to procure contractors that are not strong enough to manage the assignment before them? Or it has some bad,
element in it, yeah, in as far as corruption and embezzlement is concerned. Again, you don't seem to be much concerned about the late and the bureaucratic tendency within NSSF when it comes to people applying for either mid-term or their benefit at the end of the day, and the time frame taken for someone to access his money. I was expecting you to give us all those one in detail, because you hold the biggest percentage of the workers in this business, so you are the biggest stakeholder. If you're not being influenced by any power beyond you, I hope you do help us. This committee is here to help you and to help workers of this country. Be very honest to us. Help us so that we can help our people who are crying. Don't hide anything from us. We are here. We are partners in this. I hope that we can work together if you give us all the information that we need. I beg you to submit, Honorable Chair.
Okay, Honorable Nantongo.
Presentation. You've indicated in your presentation the issues surrounding the appointment of the MD. And you've indicated that you are aware that the board recommended the appointment of both the MD and the DMD. Please care to specify the persons recommended to be appointed. And you've indicated that you have briefs surrounding the appointment of the MD from the board. Would you care to share this information? What do you know that surrounds the appointment of these persons to those positions? Because you're replying to the TOR that is before us. Thank you.
And you tell us the procedure you undertook to appoint members to the board. Honorable Amos.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I want to appreciate Mr. Richard Vijirwa for endeavoring to give us information representing NOTU. One, I would be interested to know whether you're conversant as a workers' union, whether you're conversant of the number of your members that are savers to the fund, whether you have figures regarding the contributions both from the employers and the employees, and whether this, you're always informed of the updates. For example, do you have monthly reports of the contributions that have been made? In those reports, have you noticed any delay, or do you have any issues of compliance? Would you be able to furnish this committee with the figures of the current saving of your members, the members of the union? And do you have any reports from your members concerning what some of the colleagues have said about challenges of accessing midterm and others? And two, I would like to refer you to your submission. You've been talking about figures in terms of trillion, but your table does not show what you talked about. Is there anything you think you should amend? Because, take an example, you were talking about trillions, but I don't see any figure here that is addressing trillions. Okay? And two, your percentages. When you look at item 1, government bonds, item 2, equities, government bonds, to be specific, is saying 78%, equities is 15%, real estate is 7%, and number 4, you're saying others, and yet we have already clocked 100%. What is the composition of others? Do you want us to rely on these figures, or do you want to make some amendments? Mr. Chairman and colleagues, I would like you to address your issue, and I'm reiterating this because a colleague have already said it. Do you have any concerns about appointments or reappointments of the MD or DMD as an organization, do you have your observations? And would you feel comfortable, or would you feel it's secure for you to submit those observations to us as a committee? Thank you.
I also want to thank Mr. Begirwa Richard for this presentation on behalf of the team from NUTU. However, Chair, I find this presentation very limited in terms of helping this committee to come out with recommendations to help the workers of this country. Number one, I don't want to repeat what colleagues have indicated. There is a serious issue to do with governance. You constitute part of the board of NSSF, just like your other colleagues from COF2 and others. There is a petition, a complaint from your colleagues of COF2 regarding illegal representation of their board members. I know you have been asked how you selected yours, probably for you followed the right procedure. But this petition to the minister, to the Minister of Gender, to Finance, to IGG, all the petitions, I have read the copies, are copied to you as not. I want you to address this committee on that matter. Because if you are not properly constituted as a board, where you also sit, then definitely there are issues. What do you have to say about that? Secondly, Chair and colleagues, the issue of the appointment or reappointment of the MD and the deputy MD, like colleagues have said, I just want you to really come out and tell us, because you are part of the board that recommended. You did not mention the names. A colleague has asked you to mention the names that were recommended. Following the law, are you comfortable with those recommendations? What do you have to say? Do you have any reservations? Do you have any comments to make? Okay. Thirdly, Chair, and lastly on my side, is the management of the fund. Chair, you asked whether they use part of the savers' money to do the activities of their organizations. I just want to emphasize, because I am in possession of a copy of a letter from one of your colleagues at the board, COF2, asking for money to do activities of their organization. We have not seen yours doing the same. So when COF2 asked for this money, for you, how much did you ask? And how much did you get? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Masaba.
One, I have a concern with your answer to the status and safety of savers' money. When you read the note, you've said for the year ended 2021, the fund registered a net return of 1.5, you wanted to say 1.5 trillion, which makes the fund secure. A high return on investment doesn't guarantee safety. I don't know if that is clear. That shows profitability and more return, not safety. And we all know the more return on investment, then the more risky the business is. So I think you need to clarify on that. Secondly, it concerns, you've talked of the 7%, which is 1 trillion in real estate, which is risky. I don't know if you have a say or if you're consulted on the ventures NSSF wants to invest in. If perhaps they pass through your representative and they consult you, because we need to know if you're consulted, or because you're talking of a lot of money being at stake here being risky. The other issue concerns accounts. Are you privileged to see the audited accounts of NSSF, or they just report to you, your member on the board? Do you get to see and examine and see how things are moving on? That is all I had. Thank you.
Honorable, I want to ask one question, Chair. In your submission, Secretary General, you said you get quarterly reports from the board members, which is very interesting. Why do you think this committee was constituted? And why did you come? How do you want to help it?
Document, is it a constitution? Okay, because we want to establish the procedures you are meant to undertake. So by close of business today, can you kindly give us a copy of your constitution? Otherwise, kindly respond to the questions that have been raised. Microphone, kindly pull it a bit closer to you.
I would like to begin with the Honorable Chair's questions, which started with one, our role in governance. Honorable Chair and members, as earlier stated, we are represented at the board in line with the law. The law provides that the workers will have 4 slots on the board, and accordingly we are 2 centers. NO2 takes 2 and COF2 takes 2, though we are the most representative. In that regard, definitely that is not a good gesture on our side, and I would like it looked into, because 34 out of 45, that means that somehow we should be the most representative, or otherwise we should be the one with the veto power to appoint the board and include the other center. So in that regard, that is where we begin. And I would like to combine this question with the other questions. Our role in the board is that the board is the policy-making organ at the NSSF, and that's where exactly we are, at that level. In the process, as NO2, we have a constitution which provides which organ is responsible for what. And accordingly, when we are nominating board members, the relevant organ sits and appoints. And according to our constitution, that organ has a right to appoint anybody on a relevant organ. And that is what NO2 actually did when we are sending these board members. And we have no question about the process of nomination. It was done rightly, and none of us has raised a finger on our side over our board of directors. Honorable Chair, the names of the members of the board from NO2, one is Hassan Mudiba, and the other one is Annette Birunji. Those are our representatives on the board. Honorable Chair, over the status of the fund, we as NO2, we know, especially the issue of compliance, as one of honorable members raised, is still a challenge to the NSSF. And in one of our interactions with them, we have suggested several ways on how they can step up the compliance, especially to casual workers who do not contribute when even they are working. We have suggested areas like the way URA does, the way banks does, the station people. You cannot have a factor of 1,000 casual workers and everyday people are going in. So we have told them as a stopgap measure, kindly please station some members, some staff on these particular companies to ensure that even the casual staffs are recorded on daily basis to ensure that these members' funds are collected from the source. So we have suggested to them and we have interacted with them. We realize we do not want to deny there are challenges in the issues of compliance. And a lot of areas we agree, but we have tried our best to interact with them and we have suggested ways forward. Honorable Chair, on the issue of whether we have received any money from the fund, you realize that, and I would like to inform you that personally I'm just 1 month in the office. I was just registered 1 month ago. I have not been in the office. I'm the new Secretary General. But I wouldn't like to deny, I have heard from the outgoing Secretary General that NOTU has ever got some little funds.
No. I told you this was a very, very tough question for you to respond. If you keep trying to, the actions of the principal of the agent bind the principal. You inherited, you are new. But we want to know how much. You are now the Secretary General, you came with a very big team. How much have you been getting from the fund to finance your activities? And under what legal framework are you getting this money?
Let my colleague.
Mr. Chairman, if you ask how much have you been getting, it would sound like we have a regular flow of money from NSSF to support our activities. No, we don't. However, there has been a cooperation with NSSF over the years. It's not just yesterday. Corporate social responsibility. When we have an activity and NSSF would like to have an appearance, usually they make an input. Now, if you ask how much, that depends on the activity. But whether we have asked for money of recent, no, we haven't. We haven't.
When was the last time you asked for money? And how much was it?
The fact is, in the last 5 years, we have not written a request to NSSF for money.
But have you received?
I'm a new chairperson, but I am told, no, I am not denying, I'm told that recently, just before we came in, there was money that was supposed to be for sensitization of workers, financial literacy, that went to the centers.
And that money came without a request?
No, we did not request.
It just came.
How it came, I cannot give details.
How much was it?
I am told in the tune of 80 million. Yes. But we can give you details later.
Honorable members, you want to probe this further?
Yeah, we can give details.
It has no legal framework. We don't know the circumstances under which NSSF can give you money, just like that, workers' money. So we need to know exactly under which legal framework were you being given that money.
Yeah, we can serve that information as quickly as possible.
No, I believe you came. Do you have a corporation secretary here? A legal?
No, we don't.
May I say something? In addition to what my colleagues presented, I want to just add that one, much as we are new officers in this office, we take responsibility. We were given this invitation yesterday in the evening. We did not prepare enough, and even the letter that we received gave guidance on what we should speak. On number 5, which provided that you can inquire into other, we are here to receive the others, like the barricade of questions that you have raised, which we can sit down and respond effectively with evidence when given time. Right now, we shall end up giving you information that is not correct if we are compelled to give answers to issues or activities that require to look through either the audit reports or the activity reports of NOTU. We did not carry all these reports with us into Parliament today.
Okay.
Because we were not asked to.
It is okay. Be calm.
Yes.
Be calm.
Sorry if my tone
Who
was
is
little
the
bit
Treasurer
high.
General?
I am the Treasurer General, Chair.
And you are not aware of this money? Do you also agree that this money came onto your account without a request from you?
Mr. Chair, I can only submit after I have looked into, because the process for handover is underway, and we are going to receive these reports next week, handover reports. So if I give you information now about figures, we shall end up lying to Parliament, which we don't want to commit to. But we promise we shall get this information and share, if given time. That's what I can say.
I think you are here to help the committee, and we are not forcing you to give any information. Just like others, if you have information you can give, and you feel like evidence will be brought later, you give the information. Because it's like you're dodging. One of your members has already hit, and you're trying to dodge the question. So be free, give the information within your means, and bring the evidence.
Okay.
When you can.
Honorable Gaffer.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to get a quick clarification whether all the members here are all new, and there is no one who has been there for some bit of time. I know you'll get us those records, because I am wondering how we have a letter here from COFTU asking for over 600 million. From the membership of 45 trade unions, for you have 34. For them, they have the balance. By the time they get 600 million, for you are getting more. I would imagine that for you get more from them. Now, the issue of whether you asked for the money or it just comes is where I want us to go into. So if you receive this money when you have not requested for it, meaning you don't have any activity work plan for it, so what does it do when you just receive it on your account?
Honorable Chair, I want to respond that according to our Chairman General, and that is the true fact, that when we have an activity which is in the interest of promoting NSSF, we can partner, and that is how they facilitate MATUA. But we do not have a request whereby we come out and write we need 1,600 million. That is, our issues with NSSF on the fund are activity-based. We do not just come out. Nevertheless, I have not received the handover report yet, but I'm yet to cross-check.
When did you assume office?
Just 2 weeks back.
How is this money transferred to your account? Is it EFT?
I have not seen, but I believe it should be through the bank. The NSSF is...
Since you have the Treasurer General, is it? Can we have details of which bank your account is in?
We have bank accounts with the Housing Finance Bank. We have other accounts with the Standard Chartered and ABSA.
Specifically, this money is transferred to which account?
I'm not sure as of now.
Standard Chartered, Housing Finance, and ABSA.
ABSA. Yes, please.
All in the names of?
National Organization of Trade Unions.
We're going to request for all the minutes of your meetings, all the requests of all the sums of money you have received from NSSF. We are going to request for your constitution. We are going to request you to provide the committee with a detailed summary of the legal framework under which you are receiving this money. Otherwise, you can respond to the rest of the questions. All these documents must be provided by close of business today. Okay, how long? We also want a chart of all your accounts.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe I will read some of the questions which I noted. Chair, you raised on the concern that what could be the causes of the current impasse at NSSF. To our understanding, the impasse at NSSF is derived from, one, implementation of the new law. There are issues arising from the implementation of this new law. Some people have not comprehended what the new law is providing, including people that are at the management of the NSSF. And some such letters that are being written are also derivative of people's speculations about what they should expect from NSSF under the new dispensation of the law. Because we have never had such claims where unions ask for money for operations, but we are seeing such things. We anticipate that could be one of the reasons. The other is that it, I think, stemmed from the time the managing director reached retirement age and was asked to write a retirement letter, and it all started there, reappointment of the managing director after the collapse of his contract.
Clarification, Chair. Please specify the person you're referring to with names.
Okay. The managing director, Mr. MATUA Richard. All this impasse started with his collapse of the contract and the need for reappointment of...
Who was asked to write a retirement letter?
The managing director, because we are informed that the deputy managing director, Mr. Ayota, when he reached retirement age, he retired in writing. And the minister reappointed him or gave him a new contract because he had followed the procedures and the policies in as far as employment contracts are concerned in NSSF.
Yes, clarification. You know, we need to be specific. You have said Mr. Ayota wrote what? Be specific. You say he wrote a retirement letter or wrote
a letter
a resignation?
To specify that he has reached retirement age and therefore he should be retired from the fund.
So that is a resignation letter, it is a retirement letter?
Retirement letter. Resignation is different from retirement. Because he was writing in respect to the fact that he had reached retirement age.
Mr. Chair, can I seek clarification?
Yes, Honorable.
I want my friend not to contradict himself. Where you have no document, we have given you up tomorrow to bring. It will be safer for you. He is asking a question. Did he write a retiring letter or he resigned? Secondly, when you are given a contract and the contract has expired, are you the one who reminds the person who appointed you that now I'm soon retiring or not? So we need letters to clarify that. I don't want you to indulge into something which already have some papers around.
Honorable Gaffa.
Chair, there is confusion between retirement, resignation, and the contract end. I want him to be specific what happened to each one of them. The deputy MD Ayota and the MD Biarugawa, did their contracts expire? Is it the issue of expire of their contracts? Is it the issue of retirement age? Is it the issue of resignation? For each one, what happened? When you retire, do you write and say, I have retired? When your contract ends, do you write to your employer and say, my contract has ended? It is only resignation where you write and say, I am resigning, and you give reasons what exactly happened, keeping in mind that you have to bring some of those correspondences. Thank you.
I think, Honorable Chair, by and large, two scenarios happened. One, these two gentlemen, both of them reached retirement age. Secondly, both of them, their contracts expired. Okay. So now,
when did their contracts expire?
That is in November
last year.
Yes. So, by standard, the appointing authority has a right to give a contract even after you have retired, or not to give. So it is upon this basis where we are arguing. Now, one was given a contract and one was not. And there came in that you still have allegations to answer. So that is where the whole issue is surrounding around. So our purpose here, or all of us, I think, together with the committee which should help us, is now, are these allegations real to this one who was not given a contract, or there was favoritism? I think that's what we should do.
Because as we told you, you're here to help us, and you've alleged that one wrote a retirement letter, and we need clarity on that. Did he write a resignation letter? Did he write a retirement letter? What exactly did he write? Iota. And you have evidence to that fact?
Through the chair, I informed the committee that we are informed that one of these, the deputy managing director wrote to the effect that he had reached retirement, and he followed the procedures in accordance to the human resource manual of NSSF. And arising from that fact, he was thereafter given another contract to serve. That's what I said. So I don't have a letter, we don't have a letter to that effect. But I said that is the information we have. And we may not produce such a letter because we don't have it in our custody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, through myself, to make another small addition to what my brother Mauk has just been putting forward towards our considered cause for the impasse. And Chair, this is something I want to put historical facts, and then you may base on to that as an investigating team to dig deep. But we all may know that not so long ago, we were battling with the discussions of liberalization of the pension sector. And that is something that came up very strongly and hit us at such a time when we did not expect it. As a national organization of trade unions, we took a hard stance to do opposing of that liberalization effort. But we really saw people who were deeply committed to having this pension scheme privatized. Along with the discussions, we also saw an emergence of an authority called WUBRA. And at its coming, WUBRA was taking away monies from NSSF per year to a tune of about 6 billion, either as a retainer in respect to the service they were rendering to NSSF. And the note came out, and in one of the Labor Day speeches, we opposed it and put it before His Excellency the President, to the effect that the President finally gave a directive that that money should be stopped. But what has been the arguments through that journey, Mr. Chairman, is that voices were heard that they wanted NSSF exclusively into Ministry of Finance, a case that we objected. Until now we have double supervision by Finance and Labor. It is a considered view that what we see now could be another ploy to take us into a mad play, where finally the public believe that there is mismanagement at NSSF, even when it is not to the extent as it is being blown out in the media. So, Mr. Chair and honorable members, it is my view that you interest yourself to really establish if there are no underlying influences that are trying to paint a negative image of the fund and its management. One, to discredit participation of trade union, because there are also those voices that believe
that participation of trade union at the board is possible, that workers fall short of the qualifications to constitute a board. There are also those narratives that this fund should exclusively be at the fund. You need to dig deep and establish if what is happening now is not a redo to take us into that direction. We believe there could be some powers that want to just disfranchise us, that want to have this fund from labor. That is why we see Ministry of Labor and the person of the minister is very central in too much of the saga that is happening at present. So, Mr. Chair, before taking the conclusion on the surface, I know your team is very much capable, but kindly dig deep into some of those forces that could be underlying behind there.
If I have got you well, you are saying that the Minister of Gender is fighting for your rights, and there is a certain force fighting her.
Mr. Chair, I did not say that the Minister of Labor is fighting for our rights. I said that NOTU has been holding her distance on issues of NSSF. Part of it was to fail its liberalization. The other was to stop funding of WUBRA authority. WUBRA was taking about 6 billion shillings per year. The other was to guarantee participation of workers at the body management. That is why we have the 4 representatives as workers. But we are afraid there could be underlying forces that want to defeat those. And maybe they are working behind this saga to take us into a debate to imagine that having NSSF under Ministry of Labor is a mistake. It should exclusively be under Ministry of Finance. That was part of the struggle that we won sometime.
So in your concluding remarks, can we put it on record that this is Koftu? That NOTU is comfortable with the Ministry of Gender running this fund?
Mr. Chairman, in the presentation of our Secretary General, he highlighted that the board has dual supervision. Finance doing investment and labor doing issues of social protection. And as NOTU, we are deeply comfortable with that setup.
Okay.
Chair, some clarification. Remember, the witness, I was very careful to listening what you said. And at the end, you mentioned the minister being at the center and issues to do with other investment options, and that you're concerned. Can you clarify, please?
Beg your pardon, sir?
You mentioned that some underlying issues that you're suspicious about, and the reason why the minister is at the center of all this could be something to do with taking the fund out of the fund. And that's where I am very specific. Is it about a considered investment option? Is it about anything? Can you please give us more information?
My senior colleague is offering to help.
Thank you, Chair. I think the bottom line is that as NOTU, we want to state it categorically that for the past 10 years, the fund was under finance. We continued agitating this change. And this is a practice internationally. All the funds, the social security funds, are under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Protection because they have the social protection part, while the finance only looks at how much do we make, but they don't look at the members' benefit. For them, how much have we made? And that's the reason, as workers, we agitated and said, no, these people are not human. They are not looking at the issue of the members, but they want to hear, the fund is growing, the fund is growing. So that one, for us as workers, we saw our members at a loss. Secondly, the issue of the despising workers on the board. It is like when you have your hotel. I did not go to school, okay? I have my hotel or a farm. You cannot tell me because you have a PhD, you are coming to manage my farm. Because for you, you are educated. This is the custody of them, under the custody of workers. We are the ones who put pressure in industries for contributions. We are the ones where workers come to complain they are not deducting our money. And all these people who are making noise are not there to make this enforcement. So we become a very, very key stakeholder in this matter. People, employers run to register to NSSF. NSSF doesn't know why this employer is coming to register. There is pressure from a trade union that workers' money is not being saved. So we feel our stake is very important, and really we beg this committee that whoever tries to despise the contribution of workers on both on the board and the stake at the fund will be doing us a disservice.
So you are doing the work NSSF should be doing, therefore you should be recognized.
Indirectly we do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Chair, clarification.
Yes, Honorable.
From the gentleman. You have indicated that there are factors underlying that are blowing this entire NSSF saga out of, could be factors that are blowing the situation out of proportion. Do you, as an individual, as not, do you acknowledge that there are challenges in NSSF, despite the big proportion that is being blown by the media? Do you recognize that there are challenges, and what exactly are those challenges according to you?
Honorable Chair, we acknowledge there are challenges, and that one is in line with Honorable Kakembo's issues, where he asked us, are we comfortable with the non-compliance and the penalties arising from the interest, from non-remittance. Honestly, we want to be very clear. There are many challenges. Workers outside there, many are not contributing, especially with this phase of casualization, where they bring workers 3 weeks and say, you have gone. They keep on changing, outsourcing. Today they outsource this group, this one. So NSSF has failed to curb that vice. How do we capture these casual workers to contribute? And we are sure that this fund, if we go into the right direction, this 7 trillion is even far below what we are supposed to be. So we need to engage further, and we have been having this engagement. We are not satisfied with compliance levels, honestly to be. And also the penalties. That is why you hear now that one employer, they are demanding 5 billion. This is as a result of these penalties. And you find now the employer is unable to pay. What happens now, he can end up closing the factory. So there's need to ensure how do we leverage. When you go to NSSF, they say we must protect the investments also. The employer wants, it goes now, the workers will lose jobs. So there is a lot of fair play within the NSSF. So they will also tell you their story, but nevertheless the worker will lose it at the end of the day, which is not a good gesture for us as a center.
Chair, as a procedure issue, colleagues, I would like to request that we allow our guests go back to the questions we asked earlier and see if they can respond to.
Okay, I was on Honorable Kakembo's issues on non-remittance, which I have answered. Penalties, I have answered. Contractors, changing contractors. I happen to read the PPDA Act very well, but I would like to say that there are also challenges in the PPDA, and there are many players, interested players. These issues of petition and whatever, they keep dragging the investments of the fund. This one puts in, the other one comes and petition and does what. So there are a lot of issues with the PPDA Act, which I would think should be looked at deeply. And for me, I'm very sure this is where the loophole is coming from. People continue using the PPDA to challenge the decision. We acknowledge there may be some shortfalls in the procurement process. But also let us look at the PPD Act, how it falls short, especially on the fund of such nature. So there's need to look at that area. Then the cost, definitely the cost we may not be able to determine because we are not technical people, whether this building is worth this. I would be lying to this committee that the pension towers is not worth how many billions. That would need more technical assessment over that matter. But we also realize that I think the cost is slightly high in the procurement process. Bureaucracies in accessing the midterm, according to the last 10 years, there has been an improvement on accessing benefits that we must accept. There is improvement. Nevertheless, we should improve further. But also we should be mindful, there are many fraudsters who have not reached the age who would like to access their money. And sometimes these ones end up blowing these things out of proportion. But in the real sense, there have been a lot of improvement. And we have also registered less complaints as a center in regard to that matter. There is improvement. Somebody may have his issues, somebody is faking he's sick, he's not fit, and they tell him go to the health experts, and he ends up saying the bureaucracy is high. But we can improve further than that. On whether we are influenced, we have not been influenced. NOTU is an independent center, and as you would see, even the way we do our things is a bit quite different.
But
we can never be influenced.
But you are still new.
I'm still new, but I've been an affiliate. How we do that, when we come in leadership from affiliates, the 34 unions which I talked about are affiliates to NOTU, and that's where leadership comes from. So I've been part of NOTU. I've not just come from somewhere and bumped inside. No, I've been around.
Clarification?
Yes, I will need some clarification from you as the representative of the workers. How often do you meet your people to get views? Because being their voice at the higher level, including NSSF, how often do you interact with them as stakeholders to make sure you pick their grievances, their whatever, so that you can offer good representation?
Honorable Chair, as earlier pointed out, we are 34 affiliates and divided into sectors. We have teaching, the teachers, we have the hoteliers, we have engineers, and all those are organized under the union and has an executive led by the chairman and general secretary of the union. So all these people continue meeting different sectors in different forums in their meeting, in their workplaces and what. And through that, that is how they get views. And secondly, every chairperson of a registered union and the general secretary of a registered union is a member of NOTU Governing Council. And we sit as NOTU, and every general secretary and the chairman come into that council and they give what is happening in different sectors. And that's how we get our feedback from the workers. So, and that meeting sits at least twice every year.
According to the feedback you get from workers, not the pensioners, this time the NSSF registered workers, you have not registered any complaint from them, so that you carry them forward and find a solution to such problems.
We have registered, we have complaints, they can never fail to be complaints.
Because those are the issues we want you to bring here to help this committee to dig down deep and find a solution for our people. Those are the issues we want you to bring here on board. Help us so that we can help you.
Amongst the documents you are bringing, maybe what we can do to help respond to the honorable member's concern, we need a register of all the complaints, be it mid-term, that will back up the recommendations we are going to make, if necessary.
We don't have written the register, Mr. Chair. Only if we consult union by union, but that we have a compiled list of complaints. These complaints are generally same. They are always complaints on compliance, where employers deduct money from employees and do not remit, where employers deduct money and take long to remit, or are only forced to remit to NSSF. These are always the general complaints that we receive from these employees. And the Secretary General also made mention of the fact that many of these employers, especially the investors who come here, they come and tell the government we are going to employ 500 workers. Out of the 500 workers, only 50 are registered with NSSF. Only 50 pay as you earn. The 450 casuals. For even 8 years, they are not contributing to the government through NSSF. They are not contributing pay as you earn. But is employing the 500 people. But on record, the people that actually contribute to government income are only 50 people. Even when we try to go and push for union recognition, they close gates. And there is security everywhere. Don't enter here. Those are the issues that we face in the field.
But that is members, is that to go and force compliance?
It is part of it because these are benefits to our members.
No, as
must contribute, and where the company has the views in representing this person effectively is for us to go and demand. We actually even include NSSF clauses in our collective bargaining agreements to ensure compliance.
Honorable Nantung.
Chair, as we look at the challenges, I need you to fast track the challenges of the board. The challenges, because you sit on the board of the NSSF. Please respond to that, because that question actually came way earlier. The challenges faced by the board.
Do we have a representative of the board here?
You said you receive quarterly reports and briefs, so they do not brief you on what happens.
Okay, Chair, obviously there are several challenges which the board briefs us, and one of them is obviously the investment, making decisions of investment. For instance, one of the petitioners mentioned it clearly that, for instance, in Logowa, where you build the houses and you cannot sell them. Those are very key challenges in the board. But also the issues of enforcement. I think NSSF has failed to enforce, to ensure that workers' money is remitted by some employers. That is a very key challenge. There is a lot in that. Then there is the challenge of dormant accounts, where money is deducted from workers, and they remit it without knowing who is the owner of that money, and therefore it ends up in suspense account. That is where you hear NSSF has suspense account. They deduct the money, the employee is not registered, but the money is going to NSSF. So how do you attach that money?
On that specific matter, have you ever received a complaint in regards to the suspense? But you are new now, I don't know.
No, I've been in trade unions.
Have you ever received a complaint in regards to the suspense account?
Suspense account is in NSSF.
I'm aware.
Yes.
But there is also an allegation that there are people who forge national IDs of those who passed away and go and claim the money from the suspense account.
The only thing I must say, there was one member who consulted us and was claiming that his account has money, yet he took his money. and she was trying to access the money. And I told her, this is not your money. If you took your money, you can't have money on the account. So we tried to follow up, but I told her this is not your money in that regard.
So
that
you,
was the
you have never had a complaint?
No, but workers complain their money is not remitted.
Okay.
Yet they deduct it, so we have a complaint.
Respond to the rest of the questions as we wind up.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to respond to an issue which was raised by Honorable Gafabs about the illegal representation on the board. Mr. Chairman, as you already heard, we are 2 centers, and each center has 2 people on the NSSF board. Mr. Chairman, we heard and we got to know at the time of nominating people to this board that our sister center had people who sent themselves to the board. But as you know, or you may not know, the minister appoints these people. So while our colleagues from the other center raised a petition against the people who had nominated themselves, the minister went ahead and appointed the people who had nominated themselves. So the petitioners' hands were tied because these people were already appointed, and we do not have any means of withdrawing people who have already been appointed on the board. But if you ask me whether that is illegal, yes, it is illegal for anyone to nominate themselves to the board. We've just told you that as NOTU, we have a very clear process. A whole council is called to do an election of people who are going to represent us on that board. A process we are told was not followed the other side. So as you asked, yes, there is an illegality which needs to be corrected. Mr. Chairman, I wanted to comment on an issue which was raised also earlier on about investment on real estates. Mr. Chairman, I think there is a very high level of insensitivity to the needs of the people who contribute to this fund. I happen to have sat on that board in 2012 to 2015. And at that time, we were discussing Luboa. At that time, the cost of a house was supposed to be 1.5 billion. And we asked, if you are calling these low-cost housing for the members who contribute to this fund, which of those members has even saved 100 million on this fund? If they cannot save 100 million, where are they going to get the 1.5 billion to buy a house? Now we hear it is 3 billion. Even you members of parliament cannot buy those houses. So for whom are those houses being built? Mr. Chairman, I think these are questions which should not be coming from us alone. They should be coming from you as members of parliament. These are investments which should benefit Ugandans and Ugandans who contribute to the fund. People who contribute to this fund are poor people. They need support to even have a home when they retire. You can't start building for them houses of even 200 million. They will not afford them. Temangalo was supposed to be a low-cost housing. I can assure you, no low-income earner can afford a house in Temangalo as we speak now. So, Mr. Chairman,
how much is the house in Temangalo?
In Temangalo, they are supposed to go for 600 million. And it's an apartment. So, Mr. Chairman, I think there is a very high level of insensitivity to the needs of workers in this country.
Chair, can I seek clarification? Because I've listened to the submission and it's convincing that the investment should look towards the real saving. Now, investment involves board, management, there is an investment committee, contract committee, and what have you. Maybe with the approval of the minister concerned. Now, should we say the nature of investments of that nature, the recent ones, all the categories I've mentioned must be framed and we inquire into them. Why did they go in for such billions instead of going for the low-income houses?
Honorable Amos?
Chair, there is a question I ask. You speak for the workers, your members, the savers. I ask you a question. Do you have data Do you know your members, how many they are, and how much they have saved? The frequency in relation to compliance or not? Would you be able to submit to this committee that information?
Thank you, Honorable. Through the chair, I would wish to give information that NSSF membership constitutes about 9% of the total working population of this country. 9%. To mean 91% of the working population, that includes the formal and informal economy, are not contributing to the NSSF. The law, the current law, has provided or opened up for workers in the informal economy to also contribute. They are not informed about the processes and the procedures of how they can benefit from this new law. Under the circumstances, a number of things are going to happen if NSSF is to keep pace. The other current reality about membership is that most of the people that actually attract the benefits leave the fund with a lot of money that require more than even 20 new entrants into NSSF to replace this one person who is going out. If I used my own example, I started work in 1996 and my income was 150,000. That time, as of today, I am almost going to clock 50. I'm at 53, I'm almost going to clock the age. When I pick all my money from 1996 to now, for NSSF to replace the money I have removed, they will need so many people. And that is why I want to even applaud the Parliament for passing a law that broadens the scope. And when this scope has been broadened by law, then a number of things new must be done by NSSF to ensure that they recruit more and more people. Because those of us who go away with a lot of money. And the entrants are people you have not regulated as Parliament. We don't have a minimum wages bill, act in Uganda. There are Ugandans, your sons and daughters or sisters, who actually earn less than 100,000 shillings per month.
Honorable Amos.
So,
my friend, I appreciate the information you're giving, but it is not targeted. My question was specific, and I wanted an answer. Do you have this information of your membership, how much their contributions are? If we ask you, would you submit and say, we have like 10,000 members, they contribute this much, and this is what
so you give us a status, what the Honorable, and I asked it at the beginning as well. But what he wants is you give this committee a status of the workers' savings under your union. Is there any other question, honorable members, before we adjourn?
Yes, Chair. Finally, because the issue on investments, and Honorable Baka has asked who exactly is in charge of these investments, and as NOTU, you sit on the board. Are you aware of the process? How are these investments initiated? Are you consulted as NOTU? Who initiates these investments, and who exactly is in charge?
Okay, the issue of investments, we have board representatives on the board, as you stated clearly. There are so many investments in the fund. As I tabulated, there are those in bonds, there is fixed income, and definitely we cannot be consulted on those bonds. Others are emergency fixed income. Standard Chartered wants to borrow, you cannot be consulted every day. Nevertheless, we get feedbacks on the status, the way we have tabulated. These trillions are here. Real estate, this is what is invested and here. But on a day-to-day, we are not updated on day-to-day basis. That is. They have a committee called the IPMC, where some of them sit. So the board members are in charge, and we have mandated them to work for us over that matter.
Okay, honorable members, we are going to adjourn to 2:10. We thank you for the time you have given us.
My name is Okello Musa. I am the acting chairman, General National Organization of Trade Unions. I am Musa Okello, acting chairman, General National Organization of Trade Unions. We were invited to appear before the Parliamentary Select Committee investigating issues at NSSF as leaders of the National Organization of Trade Unions. Some of the issues that are being raised here are issues regarding governance at the NSSF, issues surrounding the reappointment of Mr. Byarugaba as MD of NSSF, the safety of members' money at the NSSF, and the investments at NSSF. Those are some of the issues that were raised to us. As NOTU, we have given our position. We have this view that the current status of the fund is not frightening. The fund is safe. However, that does not rule out the fact that there could be some issues that need to be corrected. For example, the minister has raised issues about the reappointment of the former MD, Mr. Byarugaba. Those issues have to be addressed. We agree with the parliament that those issues have to be addressed. We also have raised concern about investment in real estates. Members who save with NSSF, as you may all know, are people of low income. And at retirement, most of these people do not have a home to go to. They need to be supported to have a home. NSSF has invested in very expensive houses that cannot be afforded by an ordinary Ugandan. An example are the houses at Lubowa, which go for a whole 3 billion Uganda shillings. Even the members of parliament themselves cannot afford those houses. No ordinary Ugandan can afford a house of 3 billion shillings. Now, if these houses are meant to benefit the people who save with the fund, then the target has been misfired already. Temangalo, for example, was another one which was supposed to be a low-cost housing. It cannot be afforded by a low-income earner as we speak now. So our question is, for whom are they building these houses? Are they just to decorate the city? The city is going to look very beautiful with Lubowa, but it may end up with no people staying there because Ugandan cannot afford those houses.
You admit that somehow the board is illegal. Why have you allowed that to happen?
I did not admit that the board is illegal. The board is not illegal. I did not even say people on the board are illegal, but I said there are processes that led to nomination of certain people that are not exactly legal. I have not referred to anyone as illegal.
Okay, but if a process is illegal, the process, then it means the existence of a particular group also is not in tandem with the law.
I have not said that, and I do not want to say it either. The process was not proper, and we've just said it before the committee that needs to be corrected. I would like to stop there.
Okay, but is there a way maybe it could be affecting the representation at the board and activities of the board?
I am hesitant to say so because you may have an unclear process, but the people that are sent there could be capable. That's another issue. Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't laugh.
So, twagala tumanye wemuyimiridde ku nsonga za NSSF kwewe ebibulibwa ku governance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okusookera ddala njagala kusaba abalaba TV n'abawuliriza bansonyiwe kubanga oluganda lwange si lulungi nnyo. Nze mpitibwa Okello Musa. Nze aliwo kati nga ssentebe wa National Organization of Trade Unions NOTU, ekitongole ky'abakozi. Baatuyise wano okujja okwogera ku nsonga za National Social Security Fund, ekitongole ekitereka ssente z'abakozi. Ensonga ezimu ze batusabye okwogerako zikwatagana n'obukulembeze bwa NSSF. Ensonga ey'okubiri y'engeri NSSF gyesaasaanyemu ssente z'abantu z'abakozi ze batereka. Ensonga endala eri ku ebizimbe kati NSSF beteekawo ng'ebiyita low cost housing, kitegeeza ennyumba omuntu wa wansi gy'asobola okugula. Zezo ensonga ze tuva okwogerako wano. Kakati ffe nga abakulembeze b'abakozi ku National Organization of Trade Unions, bikwatagana n'obukulembeze bwa NSSF tetubibaddeko na nsonga nkulu nnyo, okuggyako nga minisita bwe yayogera nti okuddamu okuwandiika Mr. Byerugaba nga managing director alina ebintu by'alina okusooka okunoonyereza. Tukkirizaganya naye bw'abaawo ensonga eyeetaaga okunoonyereza banoonyereze. Bwe bamaliriza ne basanga nti omuntu asaanidde okukomawo mu NSSF bakikole, kubanga eyo awo si ffe tubikola ebyo ng'abakulembeze b'abakozi. Ekyokubiri, tubadde tutunuulira ku nnyumba zino NSSF zezimba. Zino ennyumba ziri expensive nnyo ku muntu owa bulijjo. Tutwale for example zino ennyumba eziri e Lubowa. Ennyumba emu etwala obuwumbi 3. Munnayuganda, nze simanyiyo munnayuganda asobola okugula nnyumba ya buwumbi 3. Nze ku lwange tebaliyo, n'abandi bamemba ba parliament bennyini tebasobola kugula nnyumba ezo. Kati ffe twebuuza ezo ennyumba bazizimbira ani? Baziteekawo nga bimuli kunyiriza kibuga kulabika bulungi, kigendererwa kiki? Ezo sente ze bateeka mu nnyumba ezo zigenda kuyamba ani? Byebibuuzo bye tubadde nabyo wano.
Ku processes y'okulonda abakiikirira kofutu,
kakati process eyo yafunamu obuzibu mufu abakozi, ne wabaawo ebintu ebitatambula bulungi mu kulonda abantu abamu. Naye minisita yakkiriza n'abawa ebbaluwa ne batuula ku board. Kakati ffe minisita bw'amala okuwa abantu ebbaluwa ebakkiriza okutuula ku board, tuba tetukyalina kyakukola. Process kati nga ffe abanotu tutuuza kanso enamba ne wabaawo okulonda, abantu beesimbawo ne balondebwa okusinziira ku capacity, oba kyeki mu Luganda, capacity yaabwe, obusobozi. Kakati ffe kye twakola, kakati bali bannaffe abalala tetumanyi kye baakola, naye ekyafuluma oluvannyuma wabaawo okwemulugunya ku sayidi yaabwe nti waliwo ekitaatambula bulungi. Naye minisita yagenda mu maaso n'abawa ebbaluwa ebakkiriza okutuula ku board.
Kyogamba leero w'owulira nti waliwo board member alidde enguzi nga wa union, tosobola kuvaayo n'ogamba nti weba kyekyo oyo agende ku bbali. Kati waba process
kisoboka,
lwaki temuteekawo ddoboozi ne mugamba process entuufu minisita atunule ku process eyo?
Kaakati okulya enguzi n'okuba nga walondebwa bubi bya njawulo. Omuntu asobola okuyita mu process nga sinuŋŋamu bulungi, naye ng'omuntu yennyini talina nsonga, ng'emirimu gyagisobola bulungi. Naye ne wabaawo omuntu ayise mu process nga nnuŋŋamu bulungi naye n'agendayo n'abeera corrupt. Kakati ebyo ebibiri tebikwatagana.
Kati ky'emyaka egya MD ne deputy gyegimu, mwe temulinaako nsonga yonna nti baali batukkiridde process?
Ekituufu kiri nti bombi batuuka ku myaka egy'okuwummula emirimu, emyaka 6. Ekyo kyo kituufu. Naye mu nkola ya public service, ekitongole ky'olimu bwe kiba kiraba nti okyasobola okuwa service, basobola okwongera contract endala eba contract. Kakati bw'oba obadde okola contract ya myaka 5, bayinza okuwaayo contract ya myaka 2 n'oba ng'okyasavinga nga bwe banoonya omulala ajja okudda mu bigere. Kakati ekyo simanyi oba minisita kyabadde agenda okukola, sikimanyi, naye nga tekirina tabu.
Waliwo simbi ze mugambe mwafunawo okuva mu NSSF ne babuuza nti basimbi zaali zaafuye?
Waliwo ebintu bibiri, batubuuziza ku bintu bibiri. Waliwo eyawandiika ng'asaba ssente, ffe tetwawandiika. Naye bw'ogamba nti twafuna ssente, ebitongole by'abakozi myaka gino gyonna bibadde bikolagana ne NSSF mu bintu bingi ekiyitibwa corporate social responsibility. Bw'abaawo activity nga NSSF ewulira nti eno activity ejja kutuganyula tufune members abapya, NSSF esobola okuba n'engeri gy'eraga mu presence neteekamu ssente ekyo kibaddewo. Not to go gets money from its members. We get subscription from members. Mu Luganda ffe ng'ekitongole ky'abakozi tuyimirizibwawo ne ssente z'abamemba baffe eziyitibwa subscription. Wansi mu branches bazisasula buli mwezi, zibeera 1% eya salary y'omuntu buli mwezi. Ezo ze ssente ze tukozesa ffe.
Kati ziri ssente waliwo ssente ze wagambyeko nti mwakafunako oba mwalimu?
Nagambye nti twawulidde kubanga tetwaliwo ffe. Sisobola kukakasa nti zibadde ezaali bwe ziti kubanga sizirina mu buwandiike. Bamanyi mu ab'amawulire ojja kuba wano yagambye baafuna miliyoni bwe ziti. Sijja kukakasa nti zaali bwe ziti kubanga saaliyo mu ofiisi.
You punished me.